Hello everyone, Jen here, City of Minot City Council is tonight, 5:30 p.m. at City Hall, 10 3rd Avenue downtown, or on all of your favorite platforms, YouTube, Facebook, the Public Access Channel 19. We have big items on the agenda tonight. In public hearings, we're talking about the Capital Improvement Plan and the Alcohol Committee. More on the agenda at the end of the show, which is the next announcement. We have a show. Hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, like the page, tell us what you think, and tell us who you would like us to interview next. This is the Minot Minutiae, where we get into the details all within that 15-minute drive across town. Look for a new episode the morning of City Council meeting days. We'll start with announcements, we'll end with a look at the agenda, and in the middle, we'll have one guest and 5 questions.
Better than City Manager Stewart. Thank you for joining us this morning. Talk to us a little bit about what it means to be the city manager in Minot.
I think it's an important role. It's something that it is a specific form of government in the country, kind of designed out of response to kind of make sure that the day-to-day business is being done in a professional way in accordance with best practices and those kinds of things. In essence, to summarize, less politics, more professionalism. And my job is to try to help balance the politics and the professionalism. And so obviously I work for the City Council. They're elected by the people to help lead the city. And so they do have a significant role in the community and the organization. And so my job is to help them prioritize their goals and objectives for the community, and then help execute that on the back end, and then help make sure that staff are trained and supported and executing those visions and those goals and those priorities in the best professional manner that we possibly can. By ordinance, I'm also required to help provide a recommended budget to the City Council for their consideration, kind of give that professional needs analysis and assessment in partnership with the department heads and the rest of the staff, and bring that forward. And then a lot of times I'm a representative of the city, so I sit in a lot of meetings, sometimes just to be informed of some things that are going on, sometimes to help provide some guidance or direction, sometimes to help make decisions. It varies on an ongoing daily basis. And one of the things I enjoy about the position is no day is ever the same. Right? And whether my calendar is chock full of appointments or not, sometimes what I anticipate to be my day isn't what it ends up being. I'm usually busy all day, but it may not be what I planned or thought when the day started. But I enjoy that. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy making a difference in the community and the organization, and that's why I do what I do.
You end up balancing a lot of opinions. I mean, you don't always get the answer that you're hoping for, because there's plenty of others who are hoping for the opposite side. So as a leader, how do you balance that?
Well, there's never any shortage of opinion and or shortage of difference or diversity of opinion. And so the goal, the role I typically try to take is to make sure that there's a process by which all those opinions can be heard, and that the right process is used to make a decision on behalf of the organization and or the community going forward. And then my job is to execute that at the end of the day. So I try not to pick which opinion unless it's something that fully falls underneath my responsibility and my administration. And then I try to listen to opinions, and then I try to make the decision that's best for the organization given the circumstances or data or information that I have available to me, is what I typically try to do. And so and unfortunately, no matter what decision you make, there's probably always someone that disagrees with that. And so, but again, my goal is to make sure that people are heard, that the process is as fair as we can make it, and that at the end of the day, we're trying to make our community and our organization the best that we can. So,
community engagement is really important to you. It's something that you built into my title before I came on board. So, how do you go about that, and why is it important to you to hear all voices?
Well, I mean, ultimately we represent the people, and so it's hard for us to do that and prioritize and make sure we're making the right decisions if we don't feel like we're well connected and in sync with the citizenry of our community and our employees. And I mean, there's multiple groups here to try and listen to and be in sync with, and so I think that's critical. And in particular, when we live in a day and age of social media and all those other kinds of things, there's a lot more avenues for connection, and there's a lot more avenues for education and information and expression of opinion out there. And so I think, this type of engagement is one of the ways that we hopefully connect with our citizens in a way that they're looking for, and in a way that's meaningful for them. Not everyone has the time to come and sit in a meeting, but they may have an opportunity to listen to a podcast or read a quick social media article on Facebook, or whatever that venue is. And I think the more opportunities we can provide that, not just for people to get information from us, but for us to be able to potentially connect and have a conversation with our citizenry. I think any opportunity that we can do that, we ought to explore that.
If somebody's wanting to get involved and they get overwhelmed, if they, you don't know where to start, what do you recommend? How do you get involved?
Well, there's a way to get involved at whatever level you're comfortable with, right? And so it could be just as simple as what we just talked about, and just engaging with our social media page and trying to be informed, or our website is another great resource with a ton of information on there with regards to budget processes and ordinances and everything else. So some of it may just be as simple as just going and reading. You can have a phone call or an email conversation with staff or a council member, all the way up to, if you want to be fully engaged. I mean, we have committees that we're constantly looking for people to participate in, or running for an elected office, or whether that's the city council or the mayor, all the way up to that level. And so we need engagement at all of those levels, and whatever an individual is comfortable with. And if they don't know where to start, maybe a good place to start is to reach out to your office and talk to you, or to my office and say, hey, this is what I'm interested in, this is what I'm comfortable. What do you suggest? And we can have that conversation.
And just taking in that information, you can make it fun as well. I mean, we have these neighborhood meetings coming up where I'm hoping that we'll have a bike ride, and
Sure.
we can do something fun that way. There's some folks over at the Blue Rider that play bingo every city council night, so you can look for fun ways to do it too.
Yeah, there's lots of good ways, and some of it is even just having a conversation about it. It doesn't even have to be with us. Have a conversation with your neighbor or your family or a friend or whoever it is, and talk about the issues and share opinions. And again, if you come up with something that you feel like hasn't been represented in the conversation, then find a way to help us hear that, so that we can make sure that that's considered.
So the idea with this podcast is we're going to do 5 questions. So you're on question number 5 here. So
Okay.
tell us a little just about Minot, about your hope for Minot. What would you like to see us going forward?
Well, what I've always seen with Minot, so my history with Minot goes way back to when my dad was in the Air Force and stationed here at the Air Base back in the mid to late 80s. So I had part of my childhood here, and I loved Minot then. And when my professional career came around to give me the opportunity to come back, I jumped at the opportunity. And there's a ton of potential here. It's a great community, great people, tons of potential. I admire its, I'm trying to think of the right word here. This might be one of those editing moments. I don't want to use resiliency, because that's a word that we use often, and I think we've got some fatigue with that. But I'll say tenacity. I admire the tenacity of the community of Minot to take on some significant challenges that would be extremely difficult to be successful in overcoming for most communities. And not that it hasn't been difficult for Minot, but when you talk about the flood and the NAS project and the different things that have consistently happened within this community, there's a strength and a tenacity within this community that I think is unique, that I admire, and I enjoy being a part of. And well, I don't want to sound cliche, but Minot's future is in the hands of its own community, and it's what they're willing to work together to accomplish. And the sky is the limit on what this community wants to be. and it's very protective of its history and its identity, which I also admire. And it's got a lot of great people here. And it's working through the same processes and challenges that any other community would have, and that's weighing through the variety of opinions and solutions to problems and stuff, and then getting the buy-in at the end. And I think that's the key to success in most communities that I've seen, is the willingness to, even though there's a differences of opinion, to agree what that next step is, and for everyone to give its best effort to make that succeed. And that's the critical piece, I think, for Minot for success.
We have the budget cycle coming up here soon, so we'll be hearing a lot from Harold through that. And we'll have some announcements here on the Minutiae after this.
So from there, we'll move on to action items, where council automatically takes each item, each motion, each vote, one by one. So tonight we'll be talking about the Minot Police Department and Minot State University Criminal Justice Partnership. We heard from them a little earlier this year. This gives MSU CJ majors as upperclassmen the opportunity to have a part-time job with the PD while they're in school, with tuition incentives, with a promise to serve the PD after graduation. The recommended action here is that council approve the partnership program with MSU. Action item 7.2 is the Broadway Circle Sub-Recipient Award, which is a big deal. We've been talking about Broadway Circle for quite a while now. Pathfinder Services of North Dakota submitted a proposal that includes the operation and management of the commercial space, the family homeless shelter, and the LMI apartment complex. This is a big deal. It's been a long time coming, so we of course want to be sure that it's the right fit. Pathfinder Services is an established name in the community, and there will be plenty of discussion for Broadway Circle tonight. You're still here, so you want to hear more about those public hearings. The first one is the Capital Improvement Plan. Now, this is a 5-year plan prepared by the engineering department that projects large-scale projects. Things like our 80-year-old 3rd Street Bridge, which comes with plenty of rules because she also crosses a railroad. She takes a lot of planning and a lot of money and a lot of strategy, so she's in the CIP. CIP also includes big buildings like the police department and the fire response south of the highway. When we have, CIP would also cover when we have the best access to NDDOT money for like Broadway improvements. Puppy Dog Cooley has lived in the CIP for quite a while. Flood protection lives in CIP. It's worthwhile information. You'll hear more about it tonight. And finally, the piece that's garnered quite a bit of attention in the last week, the Alcohol License Review and Rewrite Committee. It was assembled in January 2024 with the guiding principles pro-business, pro-growth, pro-entrepreneurship. Last City Council meeting on April 21st, the committee presented 4 potential outcomes. Number 1, do nothing, leave the cap alone. Number 2, remove the cap and pay no one. Number 3, the defining characteristic of the Black proposal is a first right of refusal for legacy license holders. Each of the existing 31 license holders could have a one-time opportunity to sell. An application comes into the city and a legacy can say, nope, don't buy from the city, buy mine instead. If nobody wants to sell, the city can sell an unlimited number of licenses for a one-time $100,000 fee for each license. Number 4, the defining characteristic of the Pittner proposal is that there would be a buyout of the legacy license holders. They would be paid $25,000 from the city. Now, the from where of that $25,000 isn't decided just yet, but it would likely be sales tax dollars. In exchange, legacies sign a no retaliation. They can keep operating for 20 years in a no-fee legacy license. Unlimited new licenses can be added, and they would pay annual fees, and the legacy would not pay those annual fees for 20 years. After that, everybody's on the same playing field. Minot City Ordinance states that 1 license will be issued for every 1,500 in population. So there are currently 31 liquor licenses in city limits. The most recently sold one was Paradiso to Don Tapatio. It came with a building, so we don't have an exact license dollar amount there, But the 4 that were added and sold by the city to adjust for population in 2021 were valued at $100,000, $105,000, $130,000, and the outlier being the first one that was purchased by Target at $210,000. So that's it. That's the big discussion. Number 1, do nothing. Leave the cap alone. Number 2, remove the cap and pay no one. Number 3, legacies have the first right of refusal. And number 4, a one-time buyout. So, which direction would you go? That's the Minot Minutia. We'll see you tonight at 5:30, City Council Chambers, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks, May 19th, on the Minot Minutia.